All right, so uh, you guys sent over a ton of stuff about this DeepSeek, this Chinese AI company, huh? You want the full deep dive. You got it. This is going to be interesting, I think. DeepSeek, they just kind of came out of nowhere, right?
hmm
And they're already nipping at the heels of like the big AI players. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of crazy how fast they've come on the scene. Like, it's only been since 2023.
2023, really?
Yep. And it was this guy, Liang Wenfeng, who started it.
Lang Wenfeng. Okay.
And get this is the really interesting part. He also runs a hedge fund, a quant hedge fund called Highflyer.
Wait, so the AI lab is like completely bankrolled by a hedge fund?
Exactly. DeepSeek is totally independent, funded just by Highflyer. So, no investors breathing down their neck, no need to chase profits. They can just focus on the research, the long game.
That's got to be a huge advantage, right? I mean, in the tech world, everyone's always rushing to market.
Oh, absolutely. It's a totally different environment.
Okay, so let's talk about the team then. They're based in Hangzhou, right? That's in China.
Yeah, hangs
Yeah.
on.
So are we talking like a bunch of seasoned AI gurus over there?
It's actually not what you'd expect. It's mostly young guys, recent grads.
Wow, really?
Yep. Seems like they're prioritizing raw talent, technical skills over like years of experience.
Interesting. So they're betting on the up-and-comers, huh?
Seems that way. And it's not just theory either. They're putting out AI models, actual models, at an insane pace.
Yeah, that's what caught our attention, right? Like
Huh.
every other week there's a new DeepSeek headline.
Right. So let's go back to the beginning. November 2023, that's when they released DeepSeek Coder.
DeepSeek Coder. Okay.
Mm.
I'm guessing this was for like programmers, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was specifically for, coding tasks.
So helping them write code, debug stuff.
Yeah, even generating whole programs, apparently. It was a pretty powerful tool right off the bat.
Wow. And then, was it just a month later they dropped DeepSeek LLM?
Yep, December 2023, that was a 67 billion parameter language model. That's when everyone kind of sat up and took notice.
Yeah, 67 billion parameters. That's got to be up there with like the big names, right?
Oh, absolutely. They were clearly taking aim at the top.
And then DeepSeek V2, that was May 2024, right?
Yeah.
Didn't that start a whole price war?
You're remembering right. It was a big shakeup. DeepSeek V2, it was like they were saying, hey, we can do this just as good, if not better, and for way cheaper.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. ByteDance, Alibaba, all those guys, they had to scramble to lower their prices.
Yep. It really disrupted the whole market.
Okay, so they're not just cheaper, they're also performing well.
Oh, yeah. They were beating the benchmarks, even surpassing some of the existing models.
They didn't let up, did they?
Yeah.
July 2024, DeepSeek Coder V2.
Another big step forward, yeah.
Even more powerful, I'm guessing.
And this one had a massive context length, so it could, process huge amounts of code at once.
Oh, wow. That must have been a huge help for, devs working on those big, complex projects.
Definitely. And then came the real shocker. DeepSeek V3, December 2024.
That's the one. 671 billion parameters.
671 billion? It was insane. And everyone was like, how are they doing this?
And they trained it for, what was it, 5.5 million bucks?
That's all. Peanuts compared to what the big companies were spending. Hundreds of millions, even billions.
So this DeepSeek V3, it was state-of-the-art performance, and it was using way less power, way less resources.
Exactly. It completely changed the game. Suddenly, you didn't need these massive data centers, these bottomless budgets, to create cutting-edge AI.
So what's their secret?
Yeah.
How are they pulling this off?
Well, one of the key things is this technique called distillation.
Distillation.
Yeah. Basically, they use a larger, more powerful AI model to train a smaller, more efficient one.
Okay, so it's like a master teaching a student.
Exactly. It's like taking all that knowledge, all that power, and distilling it down into something more manageable.
That's pretty clever. And that helps with accessibility too, right?
Yeah.
Makes these models more usable for people who don't have, a supercomputer in their basement.
Exactly. And then there's a whole open source thing.
Right. They're not keeping their models locked away, are they?
Nope. Open source all the way. Anyone can use them, modify them, build on them. It's a totally different philosophy.
So instead of hoarding their knowledge, they're actually helping to advance the whole field.
Yeah. It's a big part of why they're attracting so much attention, not just from, AI researchers, but from investors, policymakers, everyone.
And speaking of attention, let's not forget about the market impact. Remember that stock market freakout last year? DeepSeek was right in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when they started releasing models that were beating the giants for a fraction of the cost, investors started to panic a little.
I remember reading about NVIDIA. They lost, what was it, $600 billion in market value in a single day.
Something like that. It was insane. It's like DeepSeek exposed this vulnerability in the whole system.
Yeah, like the old assumptions just didn't apply anymore. They were operating under a whole new set of rules. Okay, so we've got tech disruption, market chaos, and then there's the whole geopolitical angle. DeepSeek is a Chinese company, right in the middle of this whole U.S.-China tech rivalry.
It's a tricky situation for sure. Lots of implications for, the balance of power in AI.
The U.S. is trying to, hold back China's progress with those export controls on chips and stuff, but DeepSeek seems to be finding a way around that.
Yeah, it's definitely changing the dynamics of the whole AI race.
Okay, so we've got DeepSeek navigating these geopolitical tensions, all while dropping these incredible AI models. And it didn't stop in 2025, did it? Just last month, we saw DeepSeek R1 and Janus Pro.
Two more big ones, yeah. And each one pushes the boundaries even further.
So DeepSeek R1, that one's all about reasoning, right?
Exactly. And they trained it using reinforcement learning, which is pretty cool. It's like mimicking how humans learn through trial and error.
So instead of being programmed with, like, specific rules, it's learning by doing and getting feedback along the way.
Yep. And it's working. They've got this clever reward system that guides the learning process. DeepSeek R1 is already going head-to-head with OpenAI's O1 model, which was, the top dog in reasoning AI until now.
Wow. And Janus Pro, what's the story with that one? I didn't get a chance to dig into that one too much.
So Janus Pro is their multimodal AI family, meaning it can handle all sorts of data, text, images, audio, even video.
Okay, so we're talking about an AI that can, like, understand and create different forms of media.
Yeah, exactly. They're offering Janus Pro in a bunch of different sizes, but their flagship model is the 7 billion parameter version.
And the early reports are saying it's even better than OpenAI's DALL-E 3 at image generation and analysis.
That's what they're saying.
It's like DeepSeek is on a mission to just blow past everyone in every area of AI.
It really seems that way. Their pace of innovation is incredible.
But it also raises some big questions, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So far, we've talked about their funding, their team, their models, the market impact, the geopolitics.
Yeah.
But where do they go from here?
That's the big question, isn't it? They've achieved so much in such a short time, but can they keep this up?
And what does it all mean in the long run, like for the future of AI?
That's where things get really interesting, I think. I mean, right now, they're still very research-focused. They haven't really talked about commercialization yet.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a different strategy altogether.
But is it sustainable? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, can they afford to just stay in the lab while everyone else is rushing to, turn AI into products and profits?
It's a tough call. On one hand, they've got this freedom to experiment, to explore. No pressure from investors, no need to worry about quarterly earnings. But on the other hand, they're in this incredibly competitive environment. To stay ahead, they need to keep innovating. And that takes resources.
Exactly. And then there are those security issues they've had. Remember that cyber attack last year?
Oh, yeah, right. They had to limit new user registrations. And then there were those rumors about a data breach, too.
Some people were saying they might have gotten data from OpenAI somehow.
Yeah. And definitely raised some questions about, how secure their systems are. And with their open source approach, it's like there's more transparency, but also more potential for, vulnerabilities.
It's a trade-off for sure. And as their models become more powerful, more widely used, those security concerns are only going to grow.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even with all the best intentions, with all this collaboration, there are still risks involved.
Absolutely. And it's not just about DeepSeek. It's about the whole AI ecosystem. We need to be thinking about these security issues, about how to build systems that are both powerful and safe.
Okay, so we've got the market, the geopolitics, the security, but what about the bigger picture, like the societal impact? How is all this going to change the way we live, the way we work?
That's the really big question, isn't it? I mean, DeepSeek is basically democratizing AI, right? Putting these powerful tools in the hands of people who wouldn't have had access before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Think about education, healthcare, research. What could this mean for those fields?
The possibilities are huge. But we also need to be aware of the potential downsides.
Right, like what about jobs? What about bias and algorithm?
Exactly. And then there are the ethical considerations too. I mean, we're talking about machines that can, mimic human intelligence. That raises all sorts of questions about like what it means to be human, what our values are.
It's like we're entering this whole new frontier, this uncharted territory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential for good,
Yeah.
but also potential for, things to go wrong.
It's both exciting and a little bit scary,
Yeah, definitely. It's a fascinating time to be watching all this unfold. DeepSeek, they've really shaken things up.
They've forced everyone to rethink the possibilities, like what can AI do? What should it do?
So their future is uncertain,
Yeah.
but one thing's for sure, they've left their mark.
Oh, yeah. DeepSeek is going to be part of the AI story for a long time to come.
But how's it going to affect you, our listener? I mean, DeepSeek might seem like a, distant tech company, but their actions are already having these ripple effects across industries, across our lives.
It's a reminder that even the stuff that seems kind of niche can end up having a huge impact. Like what starts in a lab in Hangzhou can change the world.
Like throwing a stone into a pond, and the ripples just keep spreading.
Exactly. And the best way to navigate all this is to stay informed, to keep asking questions, to be part of the conversation.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've looked at DeepSeek's rise, their models, their impact on the market, the geopolitical stuff, the societal implications. It's a complicated story with a lot of different layers.
And we've just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
But hopefully, we've given you a good starting point, something to think about, to build on.
Yeah, the goal here is to spark your curiosity, to get you thinking about these issues and maybe even doing some of your own research.
Because at the end of the day, understanding AI, understanding how it's going to shape our future, that's something we all need to be involved in.
It's not just about the tech, it's about the choices we make, the conversations we have, the actions we take.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one last question, something to ponder as you go about your day.
DeepSeek has shown us that the future of AI is full of surprises. It can come from unexpected places, it can challenge the status quo, it can push the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
So the question is, how will you be a part of that future? Will you just sit back and watch it happen? Or will you be a part of shaping it? The choice is yours.
It's a tough question, yeah. On the one hand, their independence gives them the freedom to explore, bold ideas without the pressure of those quarterly earnings reports. But on the other, they're operating in a very competitive landscape. To stay ahead of the curve requires constant innovation, and that takes resources.
It does. And let's not forget the security challenges they've faced. DeepSeek reported a cyber attack last year that forced them to limit new user registrations. And then there were those allegations about a data breach, with concerns about how they might have acquired data from OpenAI.
Right, right. Those incidents definitely raised some eyebrows. Even with all the good intentions and the open source collaboration, there are still vulnerabilities. It makes you wonder, as DeepSeek's models become more powerful and widely used, can they stay one step ahead of those who might try to exploit those vulnerabilities?
That's a great point. It really highlights the need for those robust security measures, not just for DeepSeek, but for the whole AI ecosystem. It's a shared responsibility. Developers, researchers, policymakers, even everyday users. We all need to make sure that these powerful technologies are used responsibly and ethically.
I agree. It's not just about preventing those cyber attacks or data breaches. It's also about making sure that these AI models are developed and used in a way that benefits humanity.
That brings us to a really important question. What are the broader societal implications of DeepSeek's rise? We've talked about their impact on the market and the geopolitical landscape, but what about their potential to reshape how we live, work, interact with the world?
That's where things get really interesting. DeepSeek is making AI more accessible. It's making it possible for individuals and organizations with limited resources to use these tools. That's a potential game changer for fields like education, healthcare
I
research.
can see that. Imagine students in underserved communities with access to personalized AI tutors or doctors in remote areas using AI-powered diagnostic tools. The possibilities are really amazing.
They are, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
As these AI tools become more widespread, we need to be mindful of the potential downsides. We need to consider the impact on employment, the potential for bias, and those ethical considerations of creating machines that can think like humans.
All valid concerns. It's like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier. A frontier with incredible promise, but also potential risks. We need to be cautious, but also excited and optimistic.
I agree. It's a fascinating time to be involved in AI. DeepSeek is challenging the status quo, forcing us to rethink what we know about AI and to confront those complex questions about what happens when we create machines that can think and learn.
So DeepSeek's future is uncertain, but they've definitely set things in motion that will impact AI for years to come.
Their story is far from over. They're a force to be reckoned with, and they'll keep shaping the AI landscape.
And for our listeners, this deep dive has given you a glimpse into this future of AI, a future that's more dynamic and diverse than we could imagine.
We've given you the knowledge to understand how important DeepSeek's rise is, the potential benefits and risks, and the broader implications for all of us.
But this is just the start of your AI journey. We encourage you to keep exploring, to learn more about those technical details, the ethical debates, and how this tech is changing society.
Understanding AI means actively engaging with it. It's not just about listening, it's about asking those tough questions, considering different viewpoints, and forming your own opinions.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to leave you with one last question to think about.
DeepSeek has shown us that the future of AI is unpredictable. Innovation comes from unexpected places and challenges what we thought we knew. It pushes those boundaries of what we thought was possible.
So the question is, how will you be a part of that future? Will you watch it happen, or will you help shape it? The choice is yours. We've been through a lot in this deep dive on DeepSeek, huh? I mean, from their crazy fast success to their totally new AI models, from market shakeups to, global power shifts. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it really shows how fast things are changing in AI. Like, it wasn't that long ago that nobody had even heard of DeepSeek, and now they're leading the pack. It's pretty amazing.
So what do you think is the most important part of their success? Is it the way they're funded, or the whole open source thing, or maybe just how efficient they are, or is it something else entirely?
It's hard to pick just one thing. It's like they've hit on this perfect formula, kind of challenging the AI industry from all sides at once. They've shown that you don't have to be this huge company with tons of money to make a difference.
It's almost like they're rewriting the rules of the game, right?
Right.
Like agility, efficiency, and working together are more important than just throwing money and resources at the problem.
Exactly. And so far, it seems to be working for them. But the big question is, can they keep this up? Can they stay ahead of everyone else?
Well, only time will tell, I guess. But one thing's for sure, DeepSeek has made things a lot more interesting, a lot more unpredictable.
It's like watching a really intense game. You never know who's going to win, and every move DeepSeek makes changes the whole board.
And for you, listening at home, this deep dive has hopefully shown you a little bit of what the future of AI might look like. And it's probably going to be a lot more exciting and diverse than we ever thought.
We've given you the information you need to understand why DeepSeek is so important, what the potential benefits and risks are, and how all of this affects everyone, not just the tech world.
But this is really just the beginning of your journey into AI. Keep learning, keep digging deeper, and explore those technical details, the ethical debates, and how this technology is changing our society.
Because the future of AI isn't something that just happens to us. We all have a role to play in shaping it through our choices, our actions, and how we engage with this powerful technology.
So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. This deep dive might be over, but your exploration of AI is just getting started.